Welcome to Bunniphish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunniphish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Friday, the 3rd of August, 2018, and this is episode 18. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. How are you guys? I did not have access to the laptop this week, so I'm trying something different. I'm recording straight to YouTube and uploading, so there will be no editing. Mara is playing right there on a loft bed, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear her talking and playing and stuff. Hopefully it won't be too distracting. If you like this option of recording straight to YouTube, let me know and I will try it in the future. The camera on my phone is way better than the camera on the laptop, so there's that. But again, there's no editing, so when I have to interact with children, it's going to not be cut out. If that is bothersome, let me know and I'll work on figuring something out. So, administrative stuff, we have a bunch. First up, let's talk about knit-alongs. The Small Things knit-along ended, and we have a winner for the final winner to be drawn for that is Allegria, who is Allison, for post number 134. It had mitts and shawls in that post. I don't remember what entry number it was. I'm pretty sure we had more than 250 entries, which is really exciting. I managed to finish over 200 things during that knit along time, which is super excited. And I did not meet my stretch goal on using up leftovers, but I did do 77, which is awesome since my original goal was 50. So the next knit along that's going to be wrapping up is the Summer Shorties. So that ends on August 15th, and any socks that you finish, single socks, are perfectly acceptable. That is, each single sock counts. If you use my patterns, it counts twice. And yeah, that ends August 15th. So you have just under 2 weeks to finish things and post them in there. There are prizes for that I don't think I've updated what they are, but we have 2 skeins of yarn that will be given away. And then there's a third knit along that I'm going to do. And that is going to be called Deja Vu. So the idea is to knit something that you've already knit before. So a pattern that you've already knit before. And it doesn't have to be, like a crazy pattern. If you want to knit tube socks and you've already knit tube socks, I myself will probably be knitting some child tube socks, or hats, anything like that. I will allow, because I'm still feeling very scrappy myself, I will allow mitered squares or hexapuffs or flats to count in that, with the caveat of you have to do 4 of those because they're so tiny. So 4 of those will count. Also, I can't remember what I was going to say. Mara's playing with crayons. I'm sorry if you can hear that. It's very distracting. There will be rules in the thread that will start on August 16th and run until October 31st. And I am already thinking of some prizes, and all of the prizes will be Deja Vu inspired. So things that I've already given away. So dyers who I've already given away yarn from, or my favorite prize that I've ever given away, which is I will make someone something using a 100-gram skein out of my stash, with discussion of what you want, that sort of thing. If someone wants that prize, if nobody wants that prize, then I won't make that for them. But I really like making things for other people, so yes, that will be one of the prizes for this Deja Vu knit along. And I will talk about some things that I will be Deja Vu knitting. I'm recording right now. Go. My other administrative thing is I released a pattern. This is the Ridgeback Socks pattern, and I am super in love with them. Mara, you're being too loud, babe.
I'm sorry.
So this is, I can't pause, so go. I love you. 20 minutes from now I'll talk to you. Yay, live with no editing. So this is Ridgeback, and it is Intarsia in the round, and it is Intarsia in the round is not difficult. It's not something to be afraid of. It does take a moment to wrap your head around it, but once you have an idea of what you're doing, it's pretty simple. This pattern does have a fair bit of purling on the leg to keep these stripes going straight. If you want to try Intarsia in the round, but you don't want to purl, I do have a pattern in the helicoid volume. This is pattern number 3. The first pattern, Rise Over Run, does not have any purling. It's just knitting. So anyway, I'm obsessed with these. These are going to be my new vanilla socks. They are, because once you get through this leg section, this is all stockinette. Ponce time, when I started recording, I was like, I don't understand why anyone would make stockinette socks. And I still feel that way. Stockinette socks for me are pretty boring. However, I do enjoy a stockinette foot for movie knitting, which we've been doing a fair bit. And it's also good for park knitting and walking knitting and things like that. So I foresee myself making a lot of these socks because there's so much pizzazz and excitement, and they look so cool, and it's a really fun pattern, and it's not difficult. It's easy to memorize. I know it's my pattern, but I don't have to like reference my pattern to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. And yeah, for those of you who have already purchased it, cued it, favorited it, thank you. For those of you who are just seeing it for the first time here, go and look at it, check it out, cue it, favorite it, purchase it if you feel like you want to make it. Yeah, I love this pattern so much, and you'll be seeing it coming up for, I don't know, at least another month on this podcast because I love it so much. The yarn that I used for this sample is 716 knit, 716 sock, and the Girl Makes Godot Look Punctual for this. And then the mini is from Fairy Tale Yarns. It came in a Pegasus mini set, and it didn't have a colorway name, but I love these socks so much, and I can't wait for it to be cool enough because I'm totally wearing these. I'm not keeping a pristine pair for samples, for viewing. I will just make more socks in this style, and these are my size, so I can't wait until it's cool enough to wear them. Finished objects. I have finished a different pair of socks that I was test knitting for Nicole Peters. These are the Liesel socks. So last time I recorded, I had 1 sock, and now I have 2. This yarn is Knit Picks Felici, Special Reserve Colorway Madrigal for the foot, and it's a stockinette foot. And then interesting construction, not interesting, but different than my normal construction for the heel and toe. So I really enjoyed that. It's definitely going on my short list for shorty socks patterns because not everybody likes the same type of toe as I do. I do a really shallow toe because I have really wide toes, so I do a wide shallow toe. This is a longer toe. These are not for me because most of the things that I make are not for me. Yes, so I finished this. The yellow is Dandelion from Knit Picks Stroll, and I really, really like this pattern. It's really well written. It has good instructions. If you're looking for a shorty sock, I recommend it. It's really good. I have also finished the Highway Driving Mitts, which is a design by Tanya Sigurdsson, and the yarn is Cattails yarn. I am in love with these mitts. I don't think I moved my progress marker last week. I was almost finished with them. I think I just had, you know what, maybe I did. Maybe this was my progress marker after the podcast because I just had this top portion to do. That sounds right. So I had just to finish out the last repeat and then do the ribbing at the top, which I did, and then put the thumbs on because you do a little bit of ribbing at the top of the thumb. So I love these so much. I cannot wait until it's not 85 degrees out so I can wear knitwear. This is not glow, this is sweat because it's hot. We don't have air conditioning in our house. And normally I have the fan on, but the fan is noisy and I didn't want that for the podcast. So fan's off. I'm going to be sweating. And yeah, that is, look at how beautiful that yarn is. Look at the sparkle. For me right now, this looks really good on the camera. So yeah, the camera on here is much better for colors than on the laptop. And you can see it's sticking to me because of sweat. I did do a little bit less increasing for the thumb gusset just because that's how my hand is made. But otherwise I followed the pattern. Oh, and I changed the thumb placement because my hands are weird. They're just made differently than other people's. I used US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. This worked up so fast. The pattern, the yarn, and the progress keeper all just worked together to make this such a fast, fun project. I highly recommend this pattern. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but it's not expensive, so go check it out. I also finished this little heart that I was working on last time. I only had these 2 rounded pieces to do. It's my own pattern. It's not written up anywhere. It just hangs on the door, and I actually like this side better than this side color-wise, the way it worked up. So this is probably going to be the side that hangs out for people. I made these for all of the kids' teachers for Valentine's Day this past year, and then I wanted one for myself, but I didn't make it. So yeah, I made that for myself. I'm super excited, and I will be making another one, maybe not this big. I don't know, it depends on when the yarn runs out, but I'll be making another one very soon. So deja vu. I might do it before the knit along though. Who knows? I also finished knitting a pair of socks that are different than what I thought they were going to be last week. So last week I had the toes finished, and this is using predominantly the mini skeins from Fairy Tale Yarn, the Pegasus mini set. This aqua is the same as was in my Ridgeback socks. So I used that on the toe, and then I started using another mini skein, and I thought I was just going to do stockinette socks. But then a friend of mine is starting chemo. She started it yesterday actually, and her sibling put out a call for hats, and I'm making a hat. It's in my works in progress. I'll show you that in a minute. But anybody who has watched for a long time knows that I say I love you with socks. So I had to make socks, and the pattern that I had to make was Kai May by Cookie A, and there was a little problem because I couldn't find my book, but a friend came through and helped me with that. So this is, I had to make Kai May because I have made this once before for myself, and it was one of the first pairs of socks that I ever made for myself. The first pairs of socks that I made were not for me, but definitely the first 5 that I made for myself was Kai May by Cookie A, and it has this lace-ish panel that looks like hearts. So as soon as we got that message, I was like, well, these socks have to be for her, and I need to make that pattern. So what I did was I cut the yarn for the toe, left the toe, didn't want to pull it out, didn't want to have to mess with that. I started, I knit the leg and the foot, and then I Kitchenered the toe on after. Could I have pulled it out? yes, it wasn't that many rounds. I had the toe and then like 7 or 8 rounds, maybe 10 rounds at the bottom. It wouldn't have taken me that long to reknit it, but it was just faster to Kitchener it for me because I can Kitchener no problem. Stockinette, reverse stockinette, garter stitch, I got the Kitchener. So I love Kitchenering, actually. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. So yeah, I made the socks using the mini skeins. I started with actually a mini skein that was not part of the set. It was a sparkle aqua that I used part of the mini skein for the Walk the Block mystery knit along. So I started that and I was striping it with the brown mini skein from the set, and then that ran out right here, and then I put in a blue. There was a blue and brown and white mini skein, so I started using that, and then I just used the brown for the heel. And then when that ran out right about here, there was another mini skein that was brown and blue and white, but it had more white, so I attached that here. So I really like the way that it striped through. I think it looks like just a plain indie dyed skein of yarn, how they kind of change color throughout, or can change color throughout. Not all of them, but if you knit with variegated yarn, you know that sometimes there's concentrations of color different throughout the skein. So I knit these 2 at a time. Well, I knit them 2 at a time and I didn't. I knit these 2 at a time magic loop until I got to just before the heel, and then I did the heel and gusset on 9-inch circulars separate, and then I put them back together after that to work down the foot. Just because on this sock, it's, you know, it's from a book, I can't tell you everything, but this knitting stuff, what is this? The chart starts on the gusset, and I wanted to have that established before I went back to 2 at a time. So I knit probably this much on 9-inch circulars and then went back to 2 at a time magic loop. Yeah, US size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles. I really like how these turned out. They will be going out on Tuesday. Did I say all of the prizes would be going out on Tuesday? That's when I have the next free time to send out everything. So they're going in the mail on Tuesday, all the small thing prizes. This package will be going out on Tuesday. I have one more finished object, and it is the Gourmet Stash yarn that I was plying last week. And it is so beautiful, you guys. It was 318 wraps on my 2-yard Knitty Knotty. So when I go to find a pattern, I'm going to search for 600 yards, 620 maybe, yards of... It's anywhere from like a light fingering to a light sport. So I'm just going to search fingering weight, close enough. And it is so beautiful. I love this yarn so much. I'm so proud of myself. And the yarn is really even from the beginning to the end of the spin, which I am super proud of because I was spinning this for like 3 years. I took a year off from spinning pretty much anything at all, so there was a year break in there, but look at how gorgeous that is. All of those different colors. It kind of gradiates. It starts with this white, and then it goes from the lightest to the darkest fibers as I saw it. Other people may have put it in different orders had they seen it, but there are sections that have brown and sections that have green, and I couldn't be happier or more proud of this. I'm keeping this yarn for myself, which is not something I usually do with hand spun, but this is going to be something for me. And I kind of want to make a big shawl or stole, so I'll probably use another yarn with this, but that is what I'm thinking. I desperately want to like shawls, but most of mine are shawlettes and they're too small for me. I wear them kerchief style, but I would just like bigger, I think. I do have one. It was a mystery knit along from Josh Ricks. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one where you actually cut the shawl. I have that, and that was a bigger shawlette, almost a shawl, maybe actually a shawl. I don't know where you cut off, but that one's a little bit bigger, and I do wear that one the most. It might also be because it's black and green, and those are colors that I actually wear. So this is black, so I'll actually wear it. So yes, pattern recommendations for about 600 yards or a 2-color stole shawl thing. Let me know on Ravelry, on Instagram, in the comments below, wherever. Yeah, let me know what you think. This is something I would wear. This color palette is what I would wear. I know I'm wearing a purple dress, but most of my stuff is black, and actually this purple dress, I'm going to show you since you can't see my lap, is reversible and it has black and white on the other side. So yeah, this will get worn around my face, around my neck. I love this skein so much. I'm so proud of myself with that. Okay, works in progress. I have some spinning going on. I have not spun as much as I did during Tour de Fleece, but Mar, you're being pretty loud. Quiet it down a little, please. But I did start plying the silk with the silk that I had in hankies on a supported spindle. And that's what it is. This is the silk that I thought would never end, and then it did during Tour de Fleece because I actually worked on it. So yes, I have that going. I also have been working on my wheels back here. There's this green Polworth that I am about halfway through spinning this into a single, and it will be plied with the Finico Dare. So I have been working on that. This is actually the second time I'm recording, so I know I've already asked if I've said something, but I can't remember if I said this or not. Tour de Fleece finished on the 29th of July, and I have still been spinning a very little bit, but not what I was spinning, which is fine with me. I do want to kind of keep the momentum of spinning because especially this hand spun brings me so much joy, but like, I love spinning, and I don't know why I take breaks from it and don't work on it when I love it so much. So yeah, I'm going to try to keep up with that. I have not spun on Carnival Bears since the end of the tour, and I don't know if I put any more on since the last time I podcasted, but not enough to show you. It doesn't look exciting. Other works in progress. I have a hat. This is for my friend. This is her chemo hat. The pattern that I'm using is Tritine. It's my own pattern, and I knit the sample and then I never knit another hat, even though I think the pattern is really beautiful. I don't know why I haven't knit it again. I just didn't. But this will be a deja vu project because I actually want to make one for myself. I'll be changing up the pattern for that a little bit because the yarn that I want to use is mohair. So I'm going to put a band on the inside. That doesn't matter. That hasn't been started. Right now, I'm making this using Nooch fiber in the Stormy colorway, which is not one of their repeatables. I bought this back when they were doing one-off skeins instead of the repeatable stuff that they're doing now. And this is a precious skein. It is one of my oldest stash skeins. Mar! It's a precious skein. I could never think of, and a project never came up that was good enough for this. So when I found out that my friend was starting chemo, I immediately thought of this yarn and this pattern, and I am making it a little shorter than the pattern calls for. It is a slouchy hat. I'm doing one pattern repeat less to make it less slouchy, just because I feel like a slouchy hat for a chemo patient might not sit as nicely. I don't know if that's true. I'm going with my gut on this. My gut says make it shorter. I'm going to listen to my gut. So yes, I have that going. And I also have right here a bead started for my next work in progress, which is the Christmas garland. I wanted to have it finished 2 months ago, but that didn't happen. And then I wanted it finished next month or last month, and it didn't happen. So I am finishing it this month because I only need about 18 more beads. And I'm still feeling very scrappy from the small things. So I'm definitely going to finish that this month. And then this kind of leads me into my next work in progress, because my friend Jenna of 716, she has the Knit Buffalo yarn truck. She is doing a art installation yarn bombing thing for a festival coming up in September. And she has requested that people make strips and squares. All of the information is in the Stockinette Zombies. They have a thread for it. So I am making I'm making a square. So this is loosely based on the Carousel pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry for a blanket square. I used to make them all the time, so I just made this from memory, and it's not exactly what they said. So I'm squaring it right now. I'm just using some acrylic. I got like 12 skeins of white acrylic. My sister gave them to me, someone gave them to her, and I plan to donate some of them to the school, but I figured acrylic is good for yarn bombing. Even though Jenna's allergic to acrylic. I asked her if I could make acrylic things, and she said she would wear gloves. So I started that. I also have this strip going, and this is where all of those minis are going right now. It's a white strand of yarn held throughout with these little scrappy bits. And I think that the fringe hanging off is kind of fun. So that's my option for that. But for the bigger scraps of yarn, so I have like 18, back to the garland, I have 18 scraps, smaller scraps of acrylic yarn left over, or not acrylic, just worsted weight. Some of it's cotton. And so I'm going to make a bead. And then after I finish each bead, they're going into a scrappy project of some sort to get them out of my stash, so they're not living in my stash anymore. And so I have this strip going, but I'm also planning on making a square and then putting little butterflies and flowers on it. I made this butterfly this morning. I totally made up the pattern as I went. It was really quick. It took like 5 minutes to crochet this up. So yeah, I'm going to be using larger colorful scraps to make butterflies and flowers and put them on the square. Just another fun yarn bombing thing. Other works in progress, I have 2 pairs of socks going. I have this is the second sample of Ridgeback, and this is where I was last time on this sock. So here I was. So I have worked all the way down the foot. The first sock is finished. This yarn, it is from Knitter's Nightmare. Last week, though, I think I said it was on Baddie Sock. It is actually on Boogeyman Sock. And it is in the Perfect color, which is more like a perfect with lots of R's for cats. And then this is a mini skein from FO & Dye. It is a merino tencel blend. I don't remember which colorway it is. Maybe next week I'll be more prepared and can tell you that. But the first sock is finished, and I have started on the second. It is so, this pattern is so fun and so simple. I love it so much. I don't have to look at the pattern to know what I'm supposed to do, and I know that I wrote the pattern. But I think that it would be super memorizable for anybody. So, yeah, I really like it. I am going to the movies tomorrow, so I would like to get this sock to at least the heel. I can do the heel in the movie theater. I could probably do the entire sock in the movie theater, but I don't want to, just in case I make a mistake, because it is a darker yarn for the main body. If I can get through the heel, that would be awesome. so that I just have the stockinette foot to work on through the movie, but if not, I can work on the heel there. So yeah, that is the second sock. I am super in love with this pattern. It's so fun. It's so great. Definitely go check it out. I know I already said that, but honestly, even if this wasn't my pattern, I would be in love with it. It's very potato chippy. It kind of reminds me, like, I feel the same excitement for this that I felt when I made Mystic Spiral, a pattern by Josh Ricks. If you have made the Stitch Surfer, it's kind of like that idea. Yeah, I love this, and I actually already have some yarn set aside, not this one, set aside for my next pair of Ridgeback socks. I have an actual pair of stockinette socks that I'm going to be working on. Just barely started. Here's the toe. And we're going to work it 2 at a time, magic loop, because I'm going to be using mini skeins again. And then right here I have cattails yarn attached. I'm going to be making another little mini stocking out of it. But anyway, the yarn that I'm using from this is Yarn Geek fibers in the Super Geek mini skeins. It's a 3-ply fingering weight, 75% Cordale, 25% nylon. They're 60-yard skeins. I'm not going to talk about colorway names right now, but these are the ones that I don't have balled up yet, and I think they are super beautiful. I'm going to stripe the yarns kind of like I did in Kaimei, but not exactly. I'm going to be playing with striping sequences in these socks. I'm not following a pattern. I am just going for it. I am pretty excited to show you that next week, show you what I come up with. So this is my first yarn. I don't have a Swift right now, so I'm throwing the yarn over my knees and then winding them onto a center pole ball using my thumb as a Nosta pin. So this is my second color, and next week these should be pretty cool, although I'm not working on them a ton because they're very low priority. It's just kind of a, you know, pull out, work on here and there when I need a break from my other projects. So that is everything I have for you this week. I didn't bring over my modular project to check in with you, so I'll talk about modular check-in next week. And yeah, let me know how you feel about this recording straight to YouTube thing, if it works, if it doesn't, because there is no editing. Yeah, let me know. Okay, it was great seeing you. See you next week. Bye.